All right, I'm making this video. Today is August 16. Today is August 16. I'm making a video right now. I'm in front of the new building department. It used to be on One North University Drive, but they done moved it over here. Um, I'm very frustrated. I feel like actually I'm sick right now at this moment. I'm sick. I think this is weighing on my health, and this has been very frustrating and very frustrating. And I've been getting the runaround on the things that I've been trying to do to get my life in order, so I could go to work and I could go make my money and I could be a contributing citizen and I could contribute to my family and get my life in order and move forward with the business that I have that I'm trying to run. For a certain amount of time, I think this is going on over a year. It's been going on over a year where this department since COVID, we were shut down. I think and we were shut down. I think excuse me. I think we've been shut down since we were shut down March of 2020. March of 2020. I think we was shut down, and I've been trying to get in contact with the building department. I spoke to the building department to find out about renewing my license. My license expired on 8/31/2019. At the time, I was running around. I was working on my house, and I was also working on this investment property that I had, where I was working my regular job and I was getting off, and I was trying to work on my house that I have, and also this investment property that I also have. I've been real busy, and I've been calling the building department trying to find out how much my payment is to get my license done. It took me a while because I needed to take a continuous education course, and unknowingly, I didn't know that this course was actually a course that I could take online. That it was actually a class that was actually given online. I thought I had to go down to make the appointment, and I was have to sit for 4 hours. I was so busy that I couldn't get it done at the time. Every chance I get, I call the building department, and I try to figure out what I can do. And I was giving basically it was everything has to be done online, or everything, like there's nothing I could do right now. I can't really come in and speak to nobody. Everything has to do online. I'm an old I work with my hands. I'm an old person, really. I'm not literate as far as computers go. I've been out of school since 1995. I've been doing construction work. I've been working with wood and power tools. That's what I do for a living. I work with my hands. I'm not a guy who actually knows how to use a email or any of these things. And the places that I needed to go to find out about things that have to do with emails and stuff like that is very difficult for me. That's not one of my strong suits, and I really don't know too many people that is their strong suit. And we also was dealing with COVID at the time since March. I've spoken to the people, and the lady told me that something was wrong where I can't pay for my license. They told me how much I owed. They say I cannot pay for my license because I have some kind of red flag on my license for whatever reason. I made numerous effort to find out, like, okay, I got a red flag. What's the red flag about? They told me to contact such and such. It was hard for me to get in contact with that person. Finally, I got in contact with the person. The person told me that I have a payment that I was supposed to have made. I was supposed to have made a payment. I never received any information from the time that I went down there and I got the license. I've never received any type of documentation, anything telling me about a late fee, anything telling me about I need to renew anything. I haven't received nothing, not one piece of mail from this department at all whatsoever. I've never received a piece of mail for this department. You know, they telling me about the late fees, and I'm like, hey, I want to pay for this. They tell me I can't pay for it because I got to talk to such and such. I talked to such and such. I talked to such and such. Some guy I was supposed to talk to. I talked to the guy. He tells me that I owe a certain amount of money from this department. Okay, what department is it? How can I pay for it? He doesn't know. I gotta go and pay for this stuff that I don't know how to pay for it. This went on. I called back, and at the time, I also had a dispute because I said, y'all guys are charging me so much money, and y'all guys never gave me a warning saying that, yo, listen, if you don't pay for this, this is how much you're going to be charged every month. I haven't received nothing from this building department at all whatsoever since I've gotten the license that they gave me. At the time of the incident, they told me that I had a $500 ticket, and they told me to pay $200 here, and I was supposed to go to court I was supposed to apply for a license, then go to court, and then they were supposed to give me the rest of the information. When I left court that day, I didn't get no information, no nothing. Basically, I got a phone call from the lady saying that I'm approved to go take the test or whatever. But we way past that. What I'm trying to say is that nobody told me where to go pay this money that I was supposed to pay. I don't know anything about this building department. I'm not familiar with what they do or how this stuff goes. This is not something I went searching for. This is something that they came and found me and they introduced me to, and they tell me that if I want to work, this is the stuff that I have to do to run a business correctly in Florida. Now we're going to fast forward. I had to take time off because the hours from 8 to 4 are not good hours for me because I work for people. You know, I work and those hours are not good for me whatsoever. They're not good for me whatsoever. I have to physically come to this place. I physically come to this place and I ask the questions. I still left there where, we can't do nothing for you, but what we can do is we could put you on a board meeting so that you could get so you could talk about the reduction, and I have to do this first. Then the lady was supposed to get back with me saying that it was a board meeting. I never heard back from her. I never heard back from the lady. When I went back, months go by, I come back to them again, and I'm like, hey, listen, what's going on? I'm trying to get this thing resolved. Every month, they charging me $15 extra for late fee. What do I have to do? Oh, you had to talk to such and such. He's not here right now. I'm like, man, I don't already talk to such and such or whatever the person's name was. He already told me that is a fee that I got to pay. The lady, I want to know, where do I pay the fee at? Oh, we don't know where you pay the fee at. That's not our department. Well, I'm asking, can I get to the department? I had to sit there and make a fuss about the situation because I'm like, hey, I'm trying to get this done. And finally, somebody from the other side of the counter, they came and they handed me some paperwork, and I went down to the division. I went and I tried to get my kid's mother to pay for it online. When she went to go pay for it, it couldn't be paid online because it's not a traffic ticket. It was one of those tickets. To be honest with you, I really don't know what's going on with it. I went down to the department, wherever the courthouse is at or whatever, and they sent me to the right place. It wasn't it wasn't the clerks of courts or whatever. It was this other division that deals with, I think, parking tickets or something like that. So it was the parking ticket division I had to pay for. I paid for it. I came here. I said, okay, here it is. I did what I had to do. I want to go ahead and go in front of the board. The lady tells me, okay, no problem. I asked for some more information. The lady tells me that she doesn't know the information about my license. And I'm asking, if my license is going to be no longer available for me, what do I need to do? Because I'm not trying to wait till the last minute to find out that I no longer have a license, or like, what is it that I'm going to do? Because they say they have some new rules about the licensing department, where the licensing department is, the license that I have is no longer going to be valid. And when I came there, the lady doesn't know what's going on. She doesn't know if the license is going to still be valid. All she knows is that they are still enforcing that license, saying that if I'm working without that license, they're still enforcing it. That's the only thing the lady tells me. But she don't know what license will I be able to get in the future. What license do I qualify for? What license they changing it to? What do I have to do? She doesn't know anything. She doesn't know anything. This is the building department. The lady does not know what's going on further. So now I'm like, okay, you know what? If I have to go through everything, and y'all guys are telling me this license is not going to be available, blah, blah, let me go ahead and just, because I was supposed to go for my my general contractor's license, because this is very much what I do. I do kitchen cabinets. I do trim packages, doors, windows, baseboards, interior framing, exterior framing, slabs, tie beams, roof sheetings and framing. And these are the stuff that I really do, that I'm really, that I'm qualified to do, that I know how to do. That's the trade part that I do. And I'm like, okay, I need to go ahead and just get my, my license. Right now, I need this license. I need to get this license right here so I can work. But in the future, because y'all guys saying that the license is no longer going to be available to me, I want to be able to go ahead and get a jump on it. Let me go ahead and start doing my paperwork so I can get this new license. The lady, I asked for, what do I need to do to get this new license? The lady tells me everything that I need to do to get the new license. They say, go pay money. I went and paid the money to go in front of the board. Now, I've paid for the money to be in front of the board, to get my fines reduced so that I could go ahead and pay for the license. For whatever reason, that did not happen, and I left out of there with the worst feeling ever. That I drove home and I did not even know when did I make it home on that day, on the 11th. I had a board meeting on the 11th. Here's how the board meeting went on the 11th. The board meeting went, I came there, I signed in. I sat down. Numerous people was called in front of me. At least maybe 4 to 5 people was called in front of me. Everybody went up. I was sitting so far away from the place, I could not actually tell you that I could hear what was going on, or anything. I didn't know anything about whatever was being spoken at these board meetings, but they did not take more than, maybe each person did not sit there for more than maybe 5 minutes, I would say. When my name finally got called, I went and I stood in front of the guy. The first thing the guy does is he hands me a piece of paper, and he tells me, here's my criminal record, and he wants me to read it. Here's your criminal record. Go ahead and read it. Something like that, he said to me. Here's your criminal record. Go ahead and read it. And I'm like, the guy gave me the paperwork, and I'm wondering, first thing I said to myself is, I didn't come here for a criminal record. I didn't come here for me to be I don't know. I didn't come here. Only thing I know is I did not come here for a criminal record. The guy handed me something, and he told me to read it. My eyes, I need glasses. I didn't have the glasses at the time. The guy handed me a piece of paper with the writing on it was real low. And I looked at it, the writing was really low, and I did not care about whatever was on my criminal record, because I have not been arrested for anything since 1997. I was arrested 1 month after I turned 18. I got in trouble 1 month after I turned 18 in 1997. So I don't care anything about what's on a criminal record. You know what I mean? That happened in 1997. I don't know who that guy was back then. This is me right now. You know what I mean? At 44 years old. I couldn't see what was on the paperwork anyways. The guy handed it to me and asked me to read it. Right then at that point, I felt uncomfortable. I felt like the guy tried to humble me. No matter how, like, if I came in with my confidence up here, the guy handed me that paperwork and told me to read my criminal record to try to bring my confidence down low to a 0. He tried to bring my confidence down as soon as he did that. There's no reason for you to ask me to read my criminal record, to look over my criminal record. That's not what I came there for. That's not what I came there for. And from there's a section in there that they asked me about my criminal record, and I wrote down, and they asked me to go get the affidavit. I went and got everything from them. I'm pretty sure I read my criminal record when I was filling out the application, and I was putting the information on my application. So he gave me the paperwork. I put the paperwork to the side. Because that's not what I came there for. You know? So the guy goes over my, as he's going over my application, he keeps making mistakes. He keeps asking me about one company. When I give him the answer for the one company, he tells me that that's the answer for the other company. And then everything that I say to him, he repeats it back to me wrong. He asked me, when did I stop working for a company? I said, I stopped working for the company whenever it is that I said, and he tells me that I gave him that answer for a different company. He kept screwing up. He started writing stuff on the application, and everything I say to him, he turned around and he tell me something different. Right? The guy started giving me a question. Mind you, I came in that day, I was in the emergency room. I have proof that I was in the emergency room on Sunday. To the point I had a upper I'm trying to think what they I have an upper respiratory infection. Right now I'm dealing with a sore throat. I'm drinking lemon. I'm taking cough drops. I'm coughing. I have mucus on my chest. I was in the emergency room the Sunday before my meeting was on that Thursday, and right now today is Tuesday. Today is Tuesday, and I'm still sick. The guy started questioning me, asking me all type of questions that didn't have anything to do with my with the affidavit that I gave to him. After he kept making mistakes about my employment, making mistakes after mistakes on my employment. He keep asking me a question about this company. When I answer it with this company, he turns around and said that this company, this happened to another. This is the. He tells me that that was the answer for another company. The guy asked me questions about what kind of constructions that I've done. I told him like my whole from the time that I started working, if it was 98 or 99, I've been in the construction business. That's the only type of work I've done. I've never worked at no banks, no markets, no nothing. You know what? Before I started in construction, I worked at a Publix warehouse while I was on probation. I ended up losing that job because I violated my probation. But that's the only work that I did, and that was even before construction. From the time that I started construction, every work that I've done been in the construction field. Installing windows, installing doors, doing framing, working as a carpenter, working on buildings, doing tilt walls, mostly doing foundations, slabs, tie beams, roofs. And when I started working for myself, due to the fact that I didn't have the requirements, I didn't have the right paperwork, so I couldn't be doing the work that I wanted to do. I had to actually start doing stuff that did not require paperwork, like doing trim packaging on houses, like doing baseboard, doors, drywalls, and things that I could do that I did not have to involve the city in it because of the fact I've been running a cabinet shop and doing finished carpentry for different contractors, doing trim packages. Let me get back to this guy. He asked me a whole bunch of questions he started asking me questions about the trade. What? I didn't feel like I was supposed to come there and take a test. Like, you asking me specific questions, some stuff are not specific. Some stuff is every job that we do. If it's something that has to do with the building department, you go look at the plans, the blueprint, and it tells you what is it that they require. Whatever window that we're installing, whatever door, there's a product approval that comes with it. This stuff doesn't just come off the top of our heads. If we're doing a slab of foundation, whatever it is that we're doing, it's going to tell us what size steel, what PSI concrete, how big the footer has to be, how deep, what type of plastic, how much compaction it needs to, whatever. Everything is on the paperwork, and we're going to follow that paperwork. The guy started questioning me about the trade, asking me different questions off the top of his head. Whatever he could probably think at the top of his head, he's asking me those questions. He's asking me the questions. What kind of slabs did you do? What do you call the type of slab that you do? I'm like, oh yeah, there's monolithic, there's stem wall. What PSI of concrete goes in the slab? 2,500, 3,000 PSI. Whatever concrete that the blueprint calls for. Whatever the engineer and the architect in the building department said that this concrete's supposed to be. It's not up to me to put whatever I want to put in there. You know, that's why they make different concretes for different stuff. You know, he went from the slab asking me about the concrete. Then he asked me what size rebar goes in the slab. I answered that. Then he went to asking me about questions about framing, interior framing, and asking me questions about drywall. Then he asked me questions. Then he went on to ask me questions about the roof, about straps, and so on. Then we get on the roof, and he asked me a specific question about the roof. He's asking me what happens after the sheeting of the roof. And I'm like, after the sheeting inspection, that's it. There's nothing else that as far as my trade goes that you do to a roof after you get in the sheeting inspection. You know, and he's telling me, you're supposed to do something before you dry it in. I say, no, as far as I know, you get the sheeting inspection, you pass, it's time for the roofers to come in and dry and do their drying. He turned around and there was a black guy there by the name of Tommy Butts Jr. or whatever. I know the guy, he's a Facebook friend of mine. I don't know if the guy actually remembers me or he knows of me, but I know of him and he's a Facebook friend of mine. And I've tried back in the days to work for him. I went out and bid a couple jobs that he was doing. It was a woman that was working for him at the time. That was the leader. And he used to have these things on the board, and his business is over there by 19th Street, and he had a cabinet shop on the side. He asked the guy, what is it that he does after sheeting? The guy said, oh, yeah, there's something that you do after sheeting. He's like, yeah. And the guy, and I'm like, and I said, like, yeah, what is it that you do after sheeting? And then he tell the guys that, what I do is I mud my seams. I mud the seams and I do something else that he said. I don't remember what he said. I don't know anything about mudding any seams or whatsoever. So the guy went to ask me about questions about the straps. I'm like, yeah, man, everything that has to do with the straps, I get it from the blueprint. You know what I mean? There's a engineering that come with the trusses, whatever information that I need. That's where we go to find it at. Then he goes to ask me questions which I felt like I didn't feel like I was supposed to be answering questions anyway, because I did not come here to take a test. I had no intentions on taking a test, because I just came here to see if my application was correct. Where did you have any problem with the application that I submitted to you? Now you're giving me a test where this test is a test that I can only fail because you don't have no license to give to me. Only thing you could do is keep me from taking the test. You know? So then the guy, he asked me a question about some type of I think he asked me a question at the beginning, some type of question about the rebar, about something that had to do with rebar and electric or something like that. Like it was like some kind of trick questions, like who does what, where I'm supposed to like tell him that it was between this person or that person. I forgot what the question was that he asked me. Then he asked me another question, which is he asked me a question about the question was, who installed the condensation line? If it's not condensation, it's some line that he asked me who installs, like basically the drain for the AC unit. He wanted to know who installs that drain. I think he said it's called a condensation line or something like that. I'm not really familiar with the terminology. And I had to use my head to be like, okay, whenever after I'm doing the framing, if I'm there when the plumbers are doing their pipes, I would see the plumbers will drill out the hole for the line to go, for the water to drip outside. I'm not a plumber. I'm not a mechanical guy. My trade, from my understanding, I'm taking a test to see if I know the trade of general carpentry, remodeling, construction, building houses. You know what I mean? As far as doors, windows, framing, and such and such. I don't know anything about being responsible to know about any other trade. I don't know about that. I need to know exactly what the people that's doing the electrical do, the people that's doing the roofing do. Then he asked me another question, which I told him that when he asked me the question, who runs the line for the condensation line or whatever that thing is called, I said the plumber runs it. Then he asked me a question about who weld the pipes, who's allowed to weld the pipes for the mechanical. Who is it? I'm to be honest with you, I don't even remember what the question was, but it was a question like, who's supposed to weld the lines or something like that. I'm like, well, the AC guy is supposed to do it. You know, it's definitely not the general contractor. So I answered him, the AC guy is supposed to do it. So then he goes to asking me about, the question was, he sat back and he was thinking about some more stuff to ask me, where he's trying to give me a test, his own version of whatever the test is that I'm supposed to pass. But I'm supposed to do it from my memory bank. I'm supposed to recollect these things. I'm not supposed to, he's giving me his own test, basically. So that means that the test that the county or the state or whatever testing department is giving is not good enough. It's his test that matters. I must pass his test first before that I could go and take their test. This is how I felt. I felt like this guy was trying to ask me anything he could possibly ask me for me to give an answer so that he could say, no, I don't like your answer, and I'm not gonna it's like the guy was trying to find any reason, any excuse. He was trying to find any excuse to say that for whatever reason he don't think that I qualify to be able to go be a general contractor. The guy asked me he says to me, what about MECs? No, he said, what about MEPs? That's what he asked me. He said, what about MEPs? And I asked the guy, what? What about who? He said, what about MEPs? I told him, I said, I don't know anything about MEPs. I don't know what are MEPs. He asked me, I asked him, what are MEPs? And he sit there and he looks at me like, you're supposed to know the answer to MEPs. You're supposed to know what MEP is. I said, I don't know anything about MEPs. He asked me, have you managed MEPs? I'm like, to begin with, I don't know what MEPs are. What is MEPs? And then he says, MEPs is the mechanical, electrical, and plumbing. He asking me, do I have 4 years experience managing MEPs? I said, well, do I have 4 years experience 4 years experience of managing MEPs? I told the guy, I said, listen, as far as the specialty contractors, the plumber, the electrician, the mechanical guys, my job is not to worry about what they do, because on most projects, when they come in, I'm on my way out. Rarely do I work alongside of those guys, because by the time I finish doing my framing, it's their turn. It's their turn. The contractors that I work for, when we doing remodeling,